Welcome to This Week in Auburn Sports. I'm Sports Editor Will Gaines. That's Assistant Sports Editor Justin Ferguson. On Monday night, the basketball team got started with a big victory over Victory University. So
Victory over victory.
Yeah. You were there, so kind of what you say from the team?
The men's basketball team is a first of two exhibitions. The other one Friday night against Payne College. Auburn, first look at a lot of newcomers on this Auburn team. Not a whole lot you can glean from an exhibition game when you're playing against a team that's not even an NCAA team, not even NAIA. Very small team that has a connection with Barbie through his time at the University of Memphis. However, a couple of guys really stood out to me. Ty Shamsuddin started at point guard. He's a true freshman out of Georgia. Shot the ball really well for a point guard, and years past, Auburn really hasn't had a lot of point production out of their point guard. They're going to need Shamsuddin to grow up fast and continue to provide that shooting presence if they want to succeed. And
he had a big summer when they went down to the Bahamas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
he carried that over.
He's just continuing and continue to build and continue to improve, and he could be a big player this year.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one that really stood out is KT Harrell. Was a newcomer.
High expectations.
High expectations. Transfer from Virginia, was at a very good school at Virginia. Didn't really quite fit in there. Now he's transferred, sat out a year, and now he's at Auburn. He had a pretty good debut. Alan Payne, Chris Denson, those are going to be the leaders of the team. They led the way for Auburn, and it was an interesting game. They don't really start getting going until next week's a week from Friday night is their first competitive game of the year. But good way to see, Coach Barbie, to see what kind of things he can get from live competition instead of just playing against each other in practice. So kind of hard to judge on what Auburn's going to be like this year from that one game, but I think the offensive production, shooting the ball was something that Auburn fans could take away from that one.
Yeah, exactly. And be sure to check out on Friday night the basketball game. We'll have full coverage on the website, and be sure to check that out. And also, we had an issue of the Plainsman come out this week, and Justin has a write-up on the basketball team from that night. And then we also have some previews for the Arkansas game this week. Malzahn, head coach Gus Malzahn, and Kyle Frazier are both returning home to their home state of Arkansas. Not the first time they've been back, but both of them are going to look a little different. Malzahn's a head coach. Kyle Frazier is now at receiver, so it's a little different look for them. Also got a write-up on the baseball game, or the baseball scrimmages. They had, I believe it was four or five scrimmages this fall. They wrapped that up last week. So we'll we had a write-up on over that with quotes from Sonny Galloway, so definitely make sure you check that out.
Very good profile on Sarah Roblicki. Excuse me. A California native who is Auburn volleyball, has won SEC Defensive Player of the Week a couple times this year, so good write-up on her. And like you said, previewing a very big game this weekend for Auburn after the Florida Atlantic game. Going to Arkansas, going to Fayetteville, taking on the Razorbacks.
This has always been, Auburn. On the surface, this looks like this should be an easy win for Auburn. But that's not the case. Auburn has, I would have to look up the statistics on this, but I think Arkansas has probably upset Auburn more times than any other team, just because just over the years it seems like Arkansas is one of those teams that they're always, they're always a dangerous team. So, kind of what are some of the things that you're expecting, Nick Marshall, will he play or not? That's going to be a big storyline.
Yeah, it seems that Nick Marshall, they still say he's day-to-day. I would expect him to start Saturday. Whether he plays the entire game, that remains to be seen. But Arkansas is a team that has beaten Auburn 4 out of the last 5 years. And the only time Auburn has won, 2010, that shootout was one of the most ridiculous games I've ever seen. So Auburn's going to get their chances to score. They've got that offensive line leading the way for one of the best rushing attacks in the country. Arkansas has struggled, and Arkansas has lost 5 straight. But it's a road game. It's in Arkansas. It'll be interesting to see how the defense plays against the Arkansas Razorbacks, who are coming off an off week. Their last game was a very, very ugly loss against Alabama. It'll be interesting to see. I still think Auburn wins by a couple of touchdowns, but it'll be closer than a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it'll be closer than what a lot of people think it's going to be. But I think I mentioned this in my column. You can read it in this week's issue. Is if Auburn goes in there and does what they do, which is run the football, stop the run, I think that they'll come out fine. no matter who plays the quarterback, because I think Jeremy Johnson or Nick Marshall can get the job.
Yeah, they've both shown that they can. When Auburn runs Jeremy Johnson in there, they don't, it's not a drop off. I don't think Johnson's showed very good passing ability in his early couple of appearances. So it'll be an interesting game. I'm very looking forward to it because it just should be a good game of football. I think
so too. Well, that's all we have for you this week. Make sure that you check out our basketball coverage on Friday night on ThePlainsman.com, and we'll see you next week.